Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning, James.
Good morning.
Good morning. I see we're live, but I'm waiting for Brady and Molly to join us.
Okay.
Sounds good. Morning, Dave.
Morning, Kim. Perhaps we don't need to wait for them.
Oh.
I just assumed.
Yeah, I have no idea. We can't hear you, Jenny.
I don't know.
That's what I thought you said by lip reading, but I wasn't.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Mumbling to myself here.
Oh, okay.
Were they invited?
Yeah.
There we go. There we go. All right. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting, special meeting of the Cook County Board of Commissioners to order at 8:32 on February 11th. And our mission is to supporting community through quality public service. Please rise and join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, and one thing I forgot to do last meeting, which is important to cover our basis here, is to read the statement regarding COVID-19 in our virtual meeting. So I'll go ahead and do that now. It has been determined that an in-person meeting is not practical or prudent because of the COVID-19 pandemic and the related peacetime emergency declaration made by Governor Walz in accordance with Minnesota Statutes, Chapter 12. We have ensured that all members of the body participating in the meeting, wherever their physical location, can hear one another and can hear all discussion and testimony offered at today's meeting. We have also ensured that members of the public present at the regular meeting location of the body can hear all discussion, testimony, and all votes of the members of the body. We have urged the public not to attend this meeting in person because of the COVID-19 pandemic and have ensured that members of the public can view and monitor the meeting remotely in real time by broadcasting the meeting on the Cook County website. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we have determined that it may be unfeasible for County Auditor Brady Powers, County Attorney Molly Hicken, County Administrator James Yorkie, and members of the Board of Commissioners to be physically present at the county boardroom at the Cook County Courthouse. All votes will be conducted by roll call, so each member's vote on each issue will be identified and recorded. All right. Now for the exciting part. Good morning, Mr. Svalson.
Morning.
Mr. Chair. Chairman Mills, can you hear me?
Yes.
I just wanted to note, I got a message from Attorney Hicken. Her computer is not working, so she's switching computers. So she'll be logging back on in just a moment.
All right. We can wait a moment or two. Huh. Also, April, I tried to dial *6 for my phone because I could see Administrator Yorkie's hand raised, but my internet glitched too. And instead I dialed *9, which raises my hand on my phone number. Is there a way you can lower my hand?
I will look into that right now.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Can you hear us, Attorney Hicken? Can you hear us, Attorney Hicken? Okay. All right, great. So yes, as I was saying, the exciting part, the oath of office. We get to swear in District 1 Commissioner, and I'll hand it over to Kim Shepard.
Good morning, everybody, and it is my pleasure to give the oath of office to Robert Swelson. So Robert, if I could have you raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge
the duties of the office of the County of Cook, or the duties of the office of County Commissioner,
the duties of the office of County Commissioner,
to which I have been elected,
to which I have been elected,
to the best of my knowledge and ability.
to the best of my knowledge and abilities.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you and congratulations and best of everything to you in your term.
Thank you so much.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Kim.
Mhm.
And congratulations, Commissioner Svalson.
Thank you so much.
Welcome aboard, and it feels really good to have 5 commissioners again. So that was exciting and very, very pleasant. And now we can move on to our next item on the agenda is the board committee assignments. This is maybe not as exciting, but very important and something that we can revisit as need be. Just we have now 3 new commissioners. I still feel fairly new myself, this being my third year in my first term. But as we have these assignments and participate, we can judge on how it's working time management wise, and what other areas we need to cover or what areas we may not need to cover as much. But we've had a little bit of experience just from the first of the year, and I don't know how we'd like to start, but I think it's a good idea just to raise any conflicts anyone has discovered already, and then we can also go over. I'm sorry, yeah, Commissioner Sullivan. Oh, you're on mute though.
Thank you.
I just know I have a conflict that has come about related to an alternate position that I have, which is the library board.
Okay. And beyond conflicts, I was going to suggest we go over the current District 1 committees and just get those discussed. And then also we can see what other interests Commissioner Svalson has, and if anyone is willing to move some of their responsibilities, and if Commissioner Svalson is willing to take them on. So looking at the document in our packet here, it has a list of the District 1 committees, and at this point it's quite short, and there's a couple of them on there that I think we're all a part of. And as we scroll down, I mean past, let's see what page that would be. Page 10, it gets to a different format there, and shows vacancies, and that can help us identify committees that Commissioner Svalson, you may be willing or able to sit on.
Okay.
Yes, Commissioner Storley.
Thank you, Chairman. The one addition, and I don't know if that's been done recently, would be for District 1 to be a part of the North Shore Scenic Drive Council. And I've attended a couple of those meetings just to fill in. And then I spoke with Commissioner Sullivan. She said she would be willing to be the alternate, but I don't know if you're still willing to do that, Ann.
I saw a nod of a head.
Right.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Okay. So we'll put that on District 1's list then?
That was the North Shore Scenic Drive.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does that sound agreeable?
I was just going to say that meets about maybe every other month. And if it's agreeable to you, I'll go ahead and let the coordinator in Duluth know your name. And also Rich Svay, Commissioner in Lake County. He's the chairman of that group, if that's agreeable to you.
It is.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Sullivan. And then if we wanted to start on that first page, or rather, I guess in the packet it is, or as a PDF file, it is page 2, but just the District 1 committees. I don't know if you've had a chance to go over that, Commissioner Svalson.
Yes, I have.
Okay. Do you have any concerns, or are those all agreeable?
Those are all fine.
Great. Well, we can just move on down. Do any other commissioners have conflicts or committees that they would like to move into Commissioner Svalson's purview? Commissioner Sullivan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. One of the things I was looking at when I reviewed my own responsibilities was something that might fit well with the District 1 Commissioner position, and that's the Grand Portage Community Task Force. I'm wondering if Commissioner Svalson, that would be something you would be interested in, or if you had already considered doing that.
Yeah, I had that one marked as one that I wasn't sure if more than one person sat on that, but certainly if we did, if two could sit on it, then I was going to ask to be added to that. But if only one, then it does seem to fit, with my district.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I would be happy to serve as your alternate.
Okay, thank you.
Excellent. And please be patient with me. I'm just scrolling up and down in our list here, following along and writing notes. All right. Are there any other committees that commissioners, yes, Commissioner Sullivan, please go ahead.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair. In looking at my list in a similar vein, I wondered, Commissioner Spalafson, if you had also looked at the AMC committees and if the AMC Indian Affairs Task Force would be something that, given your responsibilities in District 1, might be a good fit.
Yes, that was another one that I had flagged, and in the discussion I had with the tribal chair, he had said that was one that they did work through, also for training purposes for those of us that, came in. So I was going to ask about that one as well. So I would be perfectly happy to take that on if you're willing to relinquish that.
I'm happy to do so, and again, would be happy to be your alternate.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Chairman Mills?
Yes, Commissioner Starley.
The list, I'm not going on the same list you are, sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
At the bottom of the District 1 vacant list that I have, it says visit Cook County alternate. And then on my list, it says visit Cook County. Well, after visiting with Cook County meeting yesterday, I'm just wondering if we should just scratch whoever, is assigned that, me. And I think after visiting with them yesterday, I think it's just one of those meetings that whenever one of us want to pop in and join them just to know what's going on, I don't really think it should be assigned. Do you
Okay.
think? Do you think it should be assigned?
Well, you're asking me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I was a little confused yesterday because that actually was just the Grand Marais Area Tourism Association, not all of Visit Cook County. And somehow in my head, I thought it was all of Visit Cook County. And so I don't know that we've given that a fair exploration at this point. And I recognize your concerns, and I don't have a strong feeling about it. But considering the significance tourism has in our county, in our community, I feel like it is good for one of us to keep our finger on the pulse there more directly. But again, I don't have a strong feeling, and I'm open. So. All that being said, I don't know when Visit Cook County meets versus Jamada. So I'm not sure if that will be a conflict for you.
Well, it is.
Okay.
They meet, see, this month they met on a Wednesday. Next month they meet when we have a board meeting. So it's maybe every other month or so forth.
And is that Jamada or is that Visit Cook County?
Visit Cook County.
Okay.
And then here in the West End, we have LTTA.
Right.
Yeah, and I go to those just out of, because I live here,
Sure.
I just want to know what's going on. That's the basic thing. So maybe we want to say, let's just kind of be flexible and see when they have their meetings to pop in once in a while.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I'm not entirely clear on the structure of Visit Cook County because it seems like it's an overarching organization that then has these sub areas, like the Lutz and Tofty Tourism Association, as well as the Grand Marais Area Tourism Association.
Gunflint.
And then the Gunflint. And so I get the impression that those are subsets, but then they all work together through Visit Cook County. But maybe we should find out more about that structure and just when if it is a subset, when the subsets meet versus when the whole of Visit Cook County meets, and just how that works. So.
Okay. So the way this stands now is that it's on my list, and then it would be on District 1's list as the alternate.
Okay. And if you're comfortable, if you're both comfortable with that,
yep.
Okay. And then we can do a little more digging as far as
right.
what that structure is and what their meeting schedule is. And
because they, as she said, they do come before the board.
And give updates, yep.
Give updates, and then, they sponsor the social event, usually once a year, and we're all invited to that. So that part, yeah, that part's good too.
Yeah, I sure did learn a lot yesterday, just attending as long as I could, and found it very beneficial. But again, we can revisit this down the road. Any other commissioners have thoughts on that committee in particular? Otherwise, I'd see if there's other committees that we either have conflicts or would like to hand over to Commissioner Swalson.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, April.
I just was looking for some clarification. Commissioner Sullivan mentioned the Grammary Library Board, possible conflict as being the alternate.
Yes. And so thank you for bringing that up again. In the, let's see, I think, I'm not sure if it was last year or my first year, we had an alternate assigned, and to the best of the library board's recollection, they've never had an alternate commissioner attend meetings. Some of our committees and meetings were ex officio, so we don't have a vote, and we kind of, add to discussion, help give perspective, and report back to the board as necessary. Other ones, we are voting members, and it's a working board, and we participate fully. The library board is one such, and I think it's fine to have an alternate. It's just can be pretty difficult if there's ongoing projects or perspectives or work groups or whatever. So, for instance, there are subcommittees on the library board for policy, for personnel, and for finance. And so if we had an alternate assigned, it would be hard for them to participate in any of those committees. Not that they meet on the regular, it's just when needed. But I don't see harm in having an alternate either. So I think we should recognize the conflict that Commissioner Sullivan has and reassign if necessary. That being said, Commissioner Sullivan, we did change the meeting day, and
Okay.
And that is significant. It is now the third Thursday of the month.
Thursday. And what time?
And that's at 5.
That would conflict
Okay.
with the meeting that I currently have.
Okay.
Actually, 2 meetings that I have.
Well, we should talk about that.
Yeah, well, they're back to back.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So all that being said, would the board like to have an alternate assigned to the library board? I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry, Commissioner Storley.
I guess in one way, if, and you are the representative,
Yes.
when you can't attend, how do you find out what's been going on?
I think there's been one absence, and just through meeting minutes and checking in with the director, and in the past the president, board chair, which I'm now serving as, so I couldn't check in with myself clearly, but the vice.
Well, if you feel, then you can keep communication going and everything.
So far so okay, but if the board would like to have a backup, I think that's reasonable. It's just hard to have a whole lot of perspective going in there. But
Right.
the same is true for any of the alternate perspectives.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not requesting we assign an alternate, but if someone would like to do that just to make sure we cover our bases, I think that'd be fine. Otherwise, I'm not concerned about it.
Okay.
Okay. Does that help, April?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. All right, well, I'm going to jump back over to our list here. And, you know, it will be tedious, but because we did much of the work at our first meeting, I don't think it'll be quite as difficult. But if we just want to go down the list, and again, I'm on apparently different list than Commissioner Starley, but this is the one just on our Civic Web, and it is page 10 of 36 of a PDF file. And the title of the page is Cook County Boards and Committees Roster. The first one being Administrative Appeals Panel for Vacation Rentals. So I don't know if people can follow along there. Yes, Administrator Yorkie.
Before we get too far into it, I just wanted to note that I did receive a request from Andrea Orest at Sawtooth Mountain Clinic regarding the Active Living Steering Committee, which is also oversees the Safe Routes to School program. They are seeking a board member to participate in their group, and that group meets the first Tuesday of every month at 9 a.m.
And to be clear, is this the Active Living Steering Committee or the Safe Routes to School?
It's the Active Living Steering Committee.
Okay. Yes, thank you for that. I'm surprised we overlooked that before. Do we have any commissioners willing to volunteer or willing to be assigned to that committee? Otherwise, I have been involved somewhat in the past, and would be willing to rejoin that group. First Tuesday at 9 a.m.
Correct.
And it was the Sawtooth Mountain Clinic. What was the rest of it?
It's the
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, it's an Active Living Steering Committee, and so it has, I think, school district represented, the city represented, ARDC, I think, is often in there, law enforcement. I can't recall who else I remember being a part of that, but that's kind of the umbrella for the Safe Routes to School, along with other, I guess, community health minded, as far as active living is concerned.
And I don't have a problem. Like I say, I'm sensitive to the fact that, yes, my list is very short. So if there's additional things, I can certainly, something like this, and then I'll work through my calendar and see how that all works.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm not certain. Let's see, when I'm trying to remember how I was involved. I was involved through the city, actually, so I was not involved as a county rep. That's
okay.
And I think I may be wrong. I think we just had one commissioner in that committee. But if that's something that you would like to check out or try, Commissioner Svalson,
Sure. Certainly.
we can move the assignment there. Great. And then I don't believe I have a conflict, so I could be alternate if we wanted to do that, but otherwise, right. I don't know how critical that is. Thank you, Administrator Yorkie. Thank you, Commissioner Svalson. Were there any other items, Administrator Yorkie, that were brought to your attention?
None. No.
Okay. All right then. Well, if it's okay with the rest of the board, we can move on to that full list that we have in our packet. First one, Administrative Appeals Panel for Vacation Rentals, Tim Nelson, Airport Advisory Commission, and we have Commissioner Sullivan and Commissioner Hawkins as alternate. Going down to the AMC Indian Affairs Task Force, we cleared that one up. Commissioner Svalson is, we currently have Commissioner Sullivan there, but Commissioner Svalson is willing to take that on. AMC Policy Committee. I believe there's a vacancy there, and I believe that's for you, Commissioner Svalson, and that would have also been the Transportation Committee through AMC.
So this is policy, and it's basically the Transportation Committee.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep. Going down the list, we have Aquatic Invasive Species Group, ARDC Regional Transportation Advisory Committee, and my understanding is, again, we're holding that for District 1 Commissioner. What I should do here is open up a second tab and have that first list, and I can compare. There we go. Okay. And so is that agreeable to you as well, Commissioner Svalson?
Yes.
Thank you. Arrowhead Coalition for Multiple Use, I'm assigned to that as an alternate. I think we were holding that for you as well, Commissioner Svalson. Unfortunately, I don't have perspective on this group as far as how often they meet or when they meet. So this could be an area where we do find a conflict depending on how things go for you. So just a heads up, and we can revisit this as needed. So.
Okay, so that's the Arrowhead Coalition for Multiple Use. Okay.
Correct. Moving down the list, we have the Arrowhead Counties Association, Arrowhead Economic Opportunity Agency, Arrowhead Health Alliance, Arrowhead Library System Governing Board, Arrowhead Regional Corrections Board, and again, please be patient and forgive me if someone has an issue as I'm reading through this list. I'm not seeing your faces as I read the list, but I can hear you, and just please speak up. Commissioner Hawkins.
Chairman Mills, the Regional Corrections Board, this is the year that Cook County gets to appoint 2 commissioners.
Thank you.
So we may want to.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so, Commissioner Svalson, are you willing to serve on that?
The Arrowhead Regional Corrections Board.
Yep. Otherwise, yes, I'm sorry.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Otherwise, we had Commissioner Storley as the alternate, but I think at our annual meeting, you were planning on staying as alternate. Is that correct, Commissioner Storley?
I can.
Okay.
Otherwise, I haven't been able to attend a meeting yet, but because I've had some conflicts. And
Yeah.
I talked to the coordinator and explained what might happen, so.
Okay.
But I'm flexible.
Okay. Administrator Yorkie.
A question for Commissioner Hawkins. How frequently, excuse me, how frequently do we get two representatives?
Every 4 years.
Every 4 years.
Okay.
Just to keep it lively.
Yeah.
Okay, so correct me if I'm misunderstanding, but we have Commissioner Hawkins and Commissioner Svalson assigned, and then Commissioner Storley as alternate. Or Commissioner Storley, were you hoping to be assigned and have someone else as alternate?
I could be alternate.
Okay. And that's agreeable, I presume, to you, Commissioner Hawkins, and then also Commissioner Svalson?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. Let's see, so that was the Arrowhead Regional Corrections Board. Moving down to the Arrowhead Regional Development Commission, Arrowhead Transit, And then some of these I see in this list that I'm reading off of, we don't necessarily have commissioners assigned, such as the benefits committee. I don't know if we should be a part of that. I believe it's a fairly new committee, and commissioners have not been involved. So please speak up if anyone has feelings on that.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, April.
historically, a commissioner is not assigned to that because anything that is discussed during the benefits committee is brought to the county board as a whole when benefits are renewed.
All right, thank you. Board of Adjustment, moving down the list. Budget Advisory Committee. Building Committee, which will be meeting today, I believe. Census Redistricting Committee. Children's Justice Initiative, State Supreme Court. Committee of the Whole, it's all of us. Communications Committee meeting, not us. Communications Armor Towers, Emergency 911 Committee. Community Center Board of Trustees. Community Health Board. Our regular meeting is us, clearly. The retreat, I guess we don't go to the retreat. I don't know when there was a retreat. I guess I heard about them in the past, but I have not participated in that. We've done board trainings. We've done, of course, AMC trainings, but no retreats in my experience so far.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, it was a one-time event. I'm not sure why there's a committee for it. That might be an error, but probably would be good to schedule one sometime in the future, maybe related to our strategic planning. I don't know.
That's what I recall. It was one time and it was about that strategic planning.
Okay. Moving down the list. With a special meeting, it's all of us, clearly. The Cook County Chamber of Commerce, Commissioner Sullivan. Cook County Healthcare Planning Committee. Cook County Historical Society. Cook County Invasives Team. Cook County Local Energy Project. Cook County Restorative Justice Committee. Cook County Wetlands Management Plan Committee. Cook County YMCA Advisory Committee. And that one actually, we should find some clarification. I haven't spoken with Emily Marshall directly about this, but I guess there is a joint powers agreement there, and the Board of Commissioners 1 year ago voted to have 2 representatives there, but I believe in the YMCA Advisory Council makeup, it calls for only 1 commissioner. And I don't know if that could lead to a potential conflict, us sending 2 and quote unquote them only assigning 1 seat for a county representative, but we should maybe talk more about that with Emily Marshall. And I don't know if Administrator Yorkie, you can help facilitate that or investigate that a little bit.
I can certainly do that.
Okay. And again, this wasn't a direct conversation; it's just an impression that I was getting. But but I was very happy for Commissioner Hawkins to be there at our meeting. So I like having two commissioners there. But I guess we'll see what, and we can also revisit what the advisory council's makeup is. So, but we should at least be congruous. Moving down the list, Council on Aging, County Board of Appeals and Equalization, County/DNR/Forest Service Quarterly Coordination.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Commissioner Sullivan.
Going back, I don't think you could see my hand raised, but we had talked about having an alternate for the Council on Aging. Initially, I was the alternate and moved into that position.
Okay.
And I'm wondering if Commissioner Swallison, if you would be interested in serving as the alternate.
That would be fine.
Thank you for bringing that up, Commissioner Sullivan, and thank you, Commissioner Swallison, for taking on that role.
And their meetings, Commissioner Swallison, are the second Wednesday at 1:30.
Thank you.
And I'll notify them that you're serving as the alternate.
Okay, thank you.
And I believe where we left off then was unless I didn't see someone else in between, but there was the Deferred Comp Plan Committee. I see there's vacancy there, and I'm not familiar with that committee and the makeup of it. If that vacancy is for a commissioner or if that is for a staff member.
Chairman Mills, I'm not actually sure about the answer to that question. I'm wondering if April can shed any light.
I was actually going to defer to Brady because as far as my knowledge goes, they haven't met since I've started.
Yeah, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Yeah, that committee hasn't met in many years. You could almost call it ad hoc because it's only when there's a rare issue. We have a written plan for that and certain provisions, and only if someone wants to do something that's not clear, does that committee have to meet. So I would say it's a long-term standing committee. If someone's assigned, they're likely not to serve on it, but or not to have a meeting.
It almost sounds as if it's, and I know it is different, but it almost sounds as if it could be a subset of the benefits committee.
I think it very well could be, not to have another list, but just to know that if an issue comes up, there needs to be some kind of structure to answer the questions, to look at it. So I think that would be a good idea.
Okay. Administrator Yorkie, yes.
Yes. So do we want to strike this from the list then and just say that any issues that would be considered by that committee would go to the benefits committee?
I see nods, and I feel like nodding too.
Sure.
That's very reasonable.
I'm sorry, Brady, I missed that.
I think that's very reasonable.
Okay, great. Moving on to the EDA, and it'd be good to get some clarification there. Do we have two commissioners assigned, or is one alternate? Okay.
Stacy is the alternate.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification. We can modify that.
Thank you for bringing it up, Mr. Chair.
Sure. And Emergency Operations Command, the vacancy is held for District 1 Commissioner. So Commissioner Swallison will add you to that. Emergency Preparedness Committee. And I don't know if it's worth noting, in the past, this was assigned to chair and vice chair, and that's how we have the assignments. I don't know if there's a way to note that, or if there's a need to note it. I don't know how important that is, but sitting on the committee, I find it very valuable. I was reflecting on whether or not I see the value in having chair and vice chair on that. And that part is less clear to me. So for now, I think it's good, but just something that I wanted to bring to everyone's attention, that may not have to be that way. Chair and vice chair on that committee. I don't know if anyone else has perspective there, but I'm willing to revisit that in the future or whenever. Firewise Community Committee.
The only comment on that, Mr. Chair, is that I'm currently a standing member on that committee. That appears to be a conflict now that I'm a commissioner. I can, and if the board agrees, I can talk with the fire chiefs here at, in my region to seek out another member to take that spot.
Okay. Commissioner Sullivan.
Perhaps as a group, we would want to explore this need for a chair and a vice chair, because if Commissioner Svalison has some experience with that group and has that background information already, he might be a very valuable member to that committee.
Are you saying the chair and vice chair? You're assuming the chair and vice chair roles are there?
Or two commissioners, excuse me.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, I was confused. I am assigned as the alternate, and I think it'd be very worthwhile having Commissioner Svalson as the primary, if that's okay with you, Commissioner Sullivan.
That would be fine.
And then you would act as alternate. Is that
correct?
Okay.
Oh, for Firewise then?
Yes.
Okay.
Is how does it? Yeah.
Oh, I'm perfectly fine doing that. It's one I've already been a part of that. That's perfectly fine. And I can go on as the commissioner, but I think I'll still, I don't know whether it's appropriate to still represent my region as well as being the commissioner. So I'll talk with the chiefs about, about having another member assigned as the member.
Very good. Yes. Thank you. Yeah, I think you're right on there.
Okay. So I understand then I'll go on as the commissioner for the Firewise committee. Okay.
If that's, yeah, sounds like that's agreeable.
I'm fine with that. I just didn't know if that was one. I know that was one that Commissioner DeKirk, was passionate about, and so I'm certainly willing to step back and let you continue, Commissioner Sullivan, if that's something that you also share that passion. I'm fine with that. I just wanted to make sure that I called out that I was currently a member. I'm happy to step away from that, and I think that's appropriate. You don't want two commissioners sitting there at the same meeting. People will just get confused.
And I have a passion for it, but I clearly see that you have the history and the background and experience, and I think you would be a very, very valuable asset to Firewise.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Very good. Thank you both for working that out. Moving on to the General Government / Leadership Committee, and that is the chair, vice chair assignment there. Although not noted in that that particular list. So I don't know, again, if we want to spell that out explicitly. And again, I think as far as general government is concerned, it's not necessarily the chair, vice chair, but as far as like the leadership committee, quote unquote, that was, to check in with the administrative team, and I think that makes sense. And we were trying to combine the two to try to streamline that a little bit, is my understanding of our conversation the first meeting this year. Gitchagami Trail Association Committee, Grand Marais Library Board, and one correction there is just that Christina McPherson had to resign, so she is no longer a member there. And we do have vacancies for the Grand Marais Library Board. Grand Portage Community Task Force we've covered. Gunflint Trail Scenic Byway we've covered. Highway Advisory Committee. Hospital District. Labor negotiations. Lake Superior Poplar River Water District Board of Directors. Land Policy Advisory Group. Law Library Board. Local Water Management Plan Advisory Committee. The MAT team. MCIT, Minnesota Counties Intergovernmental Trust. Minnesota Power Citizen Advisory Committee. NACO, which is the National Association of Counties, similar to AMC, but on a national scale, which very, very important and powerful organization that I'm very happy to support Commissioner Storley's work in that. Northeast Minnesota Area Transportation Partnership.
Now that one was actually on my list coming into this. Do we have two that we assign there?
I'm not sure myself. Commissioner Hawkins, have you been able to attend, or has there been a meeting there? Oh, and I'm sorry, you're alternate on that. So yes, that would be, now I'm catching up. Yep. That would be yours, Commissioner Svalson, if agreeable.
Okay. Oh, I see. She's the alternate. My apologies.
Yep. Well, same. I was right there too. And then, yep. Then we have the Northeast Minnesota Emergency Communications Board, Northeast Minnesota Home Consortium Advisory Committee, Northeast Minnesota Office of Job Training Program, North Shore Collaborative, North Shore Management Board, and I believe, Commissioner Svalson, that we have Commissioner Storley as the alternate there, and I believe we have District 1 Commissioner for that, so that would be
yes.
Okay. And then North Shore Scenic Drive Council. Boy, deja vu all over again here. Northeast Waste Advisory Council. Northern Counties Land Use Coordinating Board. Northwoods Food Project. One Watershed, One Plan. Parks and Trails. Personnel. Public Health and Human Services Advisory Council.
I'm sorry, Chairman.
Yes, yes, Commissioner Hawkins.
Well, going back to Parks and Trails, I really thought I was just the alternate.
Ah, yes, you're correct. Yeah, that's another case where, yeah, we just need to label that as alternate. We don't have two commissioners. Thank you for catching that. Okay, personnel, Public Health and Human Services Advisory Council, And I guess I would note that that's one of those that I am the ex officio or an ex officio. And I noticed some of those are labeled in the list, and maybe I guess it's not obvious, so we probably should label that as such. I believe the same would be true for Administrator Yorkie and Ms. Zimmer too.
We'll get those noted.
And then it looks like Sarah Schoonover as well. Okay. PHHS Local Mental Health Advisory Council. And then, yeah, I'm ex officio in that one. I was just trying to look to see if any others, I guess. Yes, we have April Zimmer, Allison, Grace Bouchard, Martina Johnson, Grace Grenager, Sarah Hadley, all as ex officio on that, as well as myself, and Commissioner Sullivan as alternate. Planning Commission, we probably should label ex officio there as well, so that would be Diana Lindquist, Bill Lane, Timothy Nelson, Molly Hicken. Or is it implied if we have labels of member and then other labels? That's kind of the theme I'm seeing. I'm just looking for consistency in our list is all.
You are
Maybe,
correct, Mr. Chair.
which way am I correct?
If they're listed as a member, they're actually a member. And if, and I think you're going to see the same, at least in most cases, for alternate and ex officio.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so we don't need to call that out explicitly. Thank you. Well, then I'll move on to Poplar River Watershed Management Board. Public Health and Human Services Board, that's all of us. Not certain what the public notice joint powers meeting list is for. It looks like we have Planning Commission on there, Community Center Board. I find this item a little confusing, but perhaps it's valuable on the administrative side of things.
Yeah, how does anybody on the meeting know how this list is used?
Well, they're all really great people, I know that, but I just don't know how it's used.
Apparently not.
Yeah, so we'll just move on from that one, and perhaps we'll take this public notice off of our committee list. A similar one for the Truth in Taxation public notice. And they may.
My apologies, Mr. Chair. Those are just individuals that subscribed in our civic web system to get notices for those things. So those automatically pop up on our boards and committees list.
Thank you. That helps clarify. Thank you very much. So we can disregard them as far as the commissioners are concerned going through our assignments. Public Safety and Transportation Committee. And now our committee, I would assume that would have 2 commissioners, and we have, I thought, District 1 commissioner on that in the past. Much like personnel, we have 2. The budget committee, we have 2. So
On
I'm
the public safety and transportation.
correct.
Okay. And yes, if it was District 1 before, I'm fine to serve that. That's no problem.
Okay. That's my understanding or my recollection.
Yeah.
The Region 3 Social Service redesign. See, there's 3 vacancies. I see I'm on that. I'm not sure what that is for, but I have been hearing a little bit about kind of a redesign of adult mental health initiative and funding. And so I don't know if this will come into play there or not, but I guess I'd put the pause on that one, or we don't need to strike it. I'm just not clear what that is. I have not attended anything explicitly for that. Commissioner Strelly, do you have any perspective there?
I don't.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm not sure if that's gonna be a future need or if it was from years past and just kind of stayed on the list. But I have just yesterday, actually, I heard talk about the adult mental health potential redesign. So that may fall into that. Then we have soil and water here. And okay, yep. Revolving loan fund committee. Okay. Safety and wellness committee, which I'm missing right now, unfortunately, and I was going to send the alternate, but they're here too. We don't have an alternate, do we? Sawtooth Bluffs Recreation Planning Committee. Security Committee. Septic Advisory Committee. / Disposal Committee. Solid Waste Committee. Supervisor team, I don't think that's applicable here. Townships, U of M Extension Committee. Vacation Rental Committee, and then Visit Cook County, which we discussed a little bit earlier today, and we'll revisit that. And maybe we want me on there as alternate, or is someone else, or we don't need an alternate. We're just gonna kind of play it by ear. Is that, yeah, okay. Very good. Well, we made it through the whole list. Has anyone thought of any other concerns, conflicts, anything else that needs to be discussed at this point regarding our committee assignments? Yes, Commissioner Svalson.
Just for education for the new guy, how do a couple of these, it was noted when they met and that type of thing. How do I learn that to be able to fill out my calendar, that type of thing?
Yeah,
Just
I would.
wondering.
Yeah, I would recommend leaning on Administrator Yorkie as much as he is able to assist in connecting with those groups, and then they'll add you to their list, and you'll be getting meeting reminders and notifications and that kind of thing.
Very good.
And in addition to that, you feel free to Google or research and get in touch on your own, but I would highly recommend taking advantage of Administrator Yorkie's help and just organization, and that way he can make sure that this is recorded properly and then assigned in the future as well.
All right.
So Administrator Yorkie, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to note, I received an email just now from Attorney Hickens. She found the agreement that we have with the Y regarding management, and it does designate just one elected official from the county as a board member on the advisory council.
Okay, so so we can approach that in a number of different ways. The first one that comes to mind, and I'm looking for feedback here, is to still have 2 commissioners assigned, but only one of us would be a voting member of that if that's necessary. Otherwise, we could do things differently, having one commissioner and one alternate, or we could ask to revisit that agreement, which might be a little cumbersome and has been a touchy thing in the past, a number of times in the past, as a matter of fact. And Commissioner Hawkins, you did have just that one meeting, and I wouldn't say that was a typical meeting, but you maybe got an idea of what's involved on that. It is a advisory council that the final say goes to the Duluth area YMCA, and they have the ultimate authority. However, my understanding is most everything that's passed on to the Duluth area YMCA has been agreeable. Everything that the advisory council has recommended thus far has been somewhat agreeable with the Duluth Y. So what I'm trying to say is that council has no power, but they do have, their voice is listened to. So what are our thoughts on, yes, Commissioner Hawkins?
Yeah, so I did attend that meeting, and I was able to have a meeting with Emily to talk about the roles and duties. I did question why we need 2 commissioners at that kind of meeting.
We don't.
Yeah, I just
Go
didn't
ahead.
feel it was necessary. I have a better understanding now of what that role is, and I guess I would step back from that and be an alternate if you want. You were the primary. I'm willing to be an alternate, fill in. But I don't see the need to have 2 commissioners at that meeting.
Okay. Yeah, and I concur with you. I agree with you. I think, and I'd be happy to stay as primary, at least for this year, and then just if you'd be willing to be alternate, I think that'd be great. And then we can maybe switch next year, or however we find ourselves, we can revisit that next year again. Is that okay? Yeah. Thank you for that, Administrator Yorkie. And thank you, Commissioner Hawkins, for willing to be alternate. And thank you for attending the meeting and having a meeting with Emily Marshall. Okay, any other issues that come to mind here? Commissioner Sullivan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just had a question if it would be advisable if we have a procedure for our alternates, that they get the minutes of the meetings and the agendas to help prepare them and get their head around any issues for meetings that we may attend. What are thoughts of the other commissioners?
Yeah, well, the first thing that comes to mind is just being on that email list and receiving the minutes and receiving the agendas. That's what I find most helpful for my roles as alternate. So if there's just a way we can ensure that's happening, I think that'd be good. There is a danger there, and that's just the sheer volume of emails and agendas and minutes we'll be getting. So Yeah, I don't have a good solution on how to navigate that. I mean, I currently do get emails for some of the groups that I'm alternate for, but not all. And frankly, I think I've only needed to attend 2 meetings as alternate in my last 2 years. So it doesn't come up often, at least for myself. Yeah, what do other people think? Commissioner Hawkins.
I think it would be very helpful, especially since we have 3 new board members.
Right.
I know I do get some from some committees, not other ones, and I would like, just so I understand what the issues are. It's a good way for me to learn what's happening, so.
And I would concur with that. It's very helpful when you're new to get background information before stepping into a meeting.
Yeah. Commissioner Starley, before Commissioner Sullivan raised your issue, the screen bopped over to you. Did you have something you wanted to?
No, I agree that it is important, yes. The other thing is that I would feel it very helpful when April prints our individual lists up, that we also have who's alternate. Because right now I don't have that. So then you can look over your list and really find out what you're involved in as far as being an alternate. So I think that would be helpful.
Commissioner Storley, for clarification, you want to see who is your alternate on that committee if you're the primary? Because right now it
Yes.
shows if you're the alternate. Okay.
Yeah, so the primary, that's listed. And then when you're an alternate, you have the, in brackets, you have the A. Then you look over the list, and that's helpful to know who's going to help you out if you can't make a meeting.
Yes, that's a good point. And uh-oh, wait, okay. I see some freezing, but I'm still good. Okay. To be clear, and sorry if this is just exactly what you two just discussed, but what I had heard is that Commissioner Storley was speaking about our individual lists, which in our Civic Web board packet here, it's the first section, and started with District 1, Commissioner Swalson, and it has the list of committee assignments. And so what I was hearing Commissioner Starley request is within that list to have who the alternate is for each of those committees. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay. Does that make sense, April? Is that what you were hearing too?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I was unnecessarily fearful there. Okay. Well, feels like things are wrapping up here, and unless anyone else has committee assignments, concerns, suggestions, anything like that, I can ask for a motion to adjourn. Commissioner Sullivan.
Mr. Chair, I move that we adjourn at this time.
We have a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Starley support.
Thank you, Commissioner Starley. We have a motion and support. I'll do a roll call vote. Commissioner Sullivan.
Aye.
Commissioner Starley.
Aye.
Commissioner Hawkins.
Aye.
Commissioner Swalson.
Aye.
Commissioner Mills is aye as well. Unanimous approval.